life, folks.
Yeah, alarm, because originally I would have been waking up at that time.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to the episode of the Geek Bytes podcast. It's that one right there. Geek Bytes podcast.
GeekBytesPodcast.com, everybody.
I'm Ramon.
Hello, I'm Edgardo Acosta.
And every single week on the podcast, we bring you the round of the week's best Geek and Tech news. We discuss that news, of course, anything else we happen to be interested in that week. And this week is episode number 155. That amounts to about 3 years worth of podcast doing this, man. So
it seemed like it.
Yeah,
you can see in my gray how much stress is taken upon me.
Yeah, Dad, it's been 3 years.
Good.
Yeah,
I've been good to you, boy.
Yep. And this week in geek news, we have some great stories, including some fun stuff.
Yeah, today being WrestleMania. But at Geekers, we will talk about our favorite April Fool's products: Stanley Blood Thieves, Jay and Silent Bob VR, the UFC Jail Time, the movie trailer Showdown, and much more.
Yeah, some great stuff. We missed last week's episode just because it was a holiday-ish, and we were just doing family stuff.
Easter.
Yeah, Easter stuff. I guess that's the holiday. I don't keep track of these things, man.
Did Jeebus gotta hide the eggs? Then combination of those things with the bunny and
something like that. Family time. That's all I care about. It's family time. But we'll begin our show though this week with geek news. Okay, and we begin our show though with just a quick recap of some April Fool's stuff that we missed last week because we weren't here, including some fun April Fool's products that came out every April the 1st. These are fake things that entertain people.
And some people actually want.
But yeah, so, I think a lot of these products are going to get, I wouldn't mind trying that out. It feels real. And sometimes these actually turn into real products. Like there have been a few Think Geek April Fool products that became real products later on that they actually sell. So we'll look at a few of those here. And that includes delicious flavored mythical proportions unicorn balls.
Yeah.
Yep. Very, and very fun stuff. And I forgot to press the live button on that part on the Facebook thing. So
okay.
They had some
So it's
stuff.
going to be a while and eventually catch up.
It might catch up at some point.
That's fine.
It's okay.
We're
good, yeah. Some other April Fool stuff that came out. PlayStation, the board game, complete with a non-4K resolution. So if you have board games of actual video game stuff, this is kind of a play on that. Interesting. I don't know if there's a market for it, but it is an interesting concept. This one I actually thought was real. It was going to be Google Maps Where's Waldo, and actually it is real. It was real for the day. Basically, they sent like a geolocation tag for Waldo, and people had to go find him there.
I actually did it. Did you?
Yeah, I didn't try it. I saw it. I was like, oh, that seems neat, but I don't leave my house, so it's hard for me to find him unless he's in my backyard.
It's not a Pokemon Go thing. You didn't actually have to go around and hopefully catch the Waldo or anything like that. It was kind of interesting because I did have. Do you ever have the Where's Waldo books as a kid?
Yeah, I remember those. Like you find him in like a picture of other people.
They evolved it. I guess they added more characters. There's I guess a evil Waldo, a girl Waldo, some kind of wizard.
Oh, they had like a whole or like the worst page was always like the page of Waldos.
Yeah.
People in the striped shirts that your one was there with just the right accessories.
Yeah, they just pretty much just had the old books, and what they did is just warp the characters in it. It's like a reboot. It was like a Waldo reboot.
Well, that seems kind of neat actually for an April's Fool thing. Yeah. That's kind of nice. But in addition, we have some other products that came out on April the 1st that were getting fake products. Mm-hmm. Like Think Geek's Bluetooth Pet Rock. It's Bluetooth enabled, and it is the exact same thing as his older model, just slightly more technology. Yeah, upgraded. And it comes in a nice fancy box and a little nesty thing. So
the Pet Rock was actually a thing.
It was a legitimate thing, and
somebody made money off of it.
Yeah. So why is that? I could see somebody wanting to do this, to be honest. Yeah. Then there was also the Think Geek's Face Hugger Snorkel, which is a product I would actually like, to be honest. Yes. Yeah, this is a product I would actually buy. A face hugger themed snorkel mask. I think it'd be very entertaining to like surprise your kids in the pool. Also, we did the PlayStation one already, but also, that's it. That's all the ones I put up. So was there anything else for April Fools that you thought was interesting, man?
Let's see. There have been a couple commercials. I know, was it, who's our service writer? T-Mobile. They did the sidekick shoe.
Yeah, where there's like this commercial for like the shoe it's a shoe phone.
Pretty much.
they took the Get Smart shoe phone and kind of modernized it, and it was kind of a quirky thing where you see someone in the video taking off their shoe to take a call, or like holding up their shoe with speakers to dance, or like dancing with their friends with their shoes playing music.
Exactly.
And some of those concepts aren't the most outrageous.
Yeah,
like if you could have your equipment in your shoe instead of your pocket, I don't see that would be too horrible thing, including speakers,
exactly,
and like maybe notification pads or whatever, or just like tracking devices.
Nike does it.
Yeah, I mean, you pay enough for your shoes anyways, for some people, so why not have them be technologically enabled?
Now, one of the ones that did come out commercial-wise that I was tempted to try it, real version, was Burger King did a dessert burger. That was a chocolate burger. The chocolate burger. The chocolate patty with the thing.
That looked delicious.
Yeah. And it was a lot of people, it was diabetes on a bun, but I would want to try it. It was just something that was just very interesting. It was like the beef patty was the chocolate. There you go.
Did I miss it?
There it is.
There you go.
Yeah. So the tomato slices were like red vines, shaved chocolate for like the lettuce, and it just add chocolate bread, sprinkles of this chocolate. There you go. Chocolate cake bun, flavored chocolate patty. I'm getting hungry.
Just thinking about it right
just looking
now.
At this
chocolate burger.
Yeah,
not the worst concept in the world.
No. I would do it. It might not be everybody's palate, but like I said, it's diabetes on a bun. I would try it at least once.
I've probably eaten worse things, to be honest, from Burger King. So
yeah, exactly, like the French fries.
But those are some of the fun things that came for April 1st. So we're catching up a little bit. In some more recent entertainment news, we have just like kind of the sad news that Stan Lee's being taken advantage of again and again and again. First, it was somebody literally stealing $1.4 million from him from various sources. He's been hospitalized with heart problems recently. His wife died not that long ago, probably a little bit less than a year from,
Yeah, of course.
And now it seems that some associate of his forged medical documents that told his nurses essentially to draw a bunch of blood from him. They used that blood then like this special edition comic series to like imprint it with like Stan Lee's blood ink, and they sold it to like specialty like comic book shops, and they were selling them. So I'm like, that seems like one of the crueler things to do to an old man. You steal enough blood that you make the old man dizzy, and then you use it to like sell his own products under like false advertisements. The comic book people who were selling it, once they
realized what was
going on, like, oh, we're not selling these things anymore. So it really was just like these people from this particular company who were taking advantage of Stanley.
Now would have, like, especially if you were knowing you were selling that kind of merchandise, that I think that would probably be in terms of like almost shutting you down. You would have got sued for sure.
Yeah.
And who knows how much that would have cost you to shut down.
Other people, like, this is just kind of seems like people who were closest now, like saying he's being taken advantage of, as so is his daughter, so many ways. He's likely to be broke by the end of the year. I'm like, no, come on, that sucks. Dude. Yeah. Too bad. I'm like, like, nothing we can do, but like, we can just kind of empathize. Like, oh, here's Stanley, here's some more money, I guess, or put him in some more movies for more cameo money.
Exactly. When I was first reading the story, I thought, I'm like, all right, somebody's going to try to clone him and create a new Stan Lee, but no, they were just doing something darker.
This is honestly one of the darker things that has been done to Stanley. It looks like we're getting we got some pluses from somebody.
Hey everybody. Yeah. We're going to be on a delay, but you'll still catch all the awesomeness.
Let's see, next story. Oh, this one was kind of fun for me. I thought it would really. At first, I thought it was going to be this was more April Fool's news, but it turns out it's true.
It's legit.
Jay and Silent Bob are going to be in virtual reality. It's an actual thing. STX Entertainment is in the process of developing several virtual reality series, including immersive content. That's usually what that basically means is that for these video stuff, you put on the virtual reality gear and you're basically in one character's shoes. You're seeing the world through their point of view. And so you're experiencing the story from the perspective, whether it's you as an actor or talking point. I actually this one a lot because Silent Bob doesn't talk, and so there's no like necessary audio recording. But here's the thing: basically, Kevin Smith is going to write and direct, essentially a virtual reality product with his characters, Jay and Silent Bob, and it's going to be a comedy series. It's going to be apparently a longer format, and it's going to be taking place from the point of view of Silent Bob. And so you're basically going to maybe see some after a little while, but it's going to be like the camera is going to be 360 camera. He's kind of where his head is supposed to be, and you're going to see the world around him as it interacts. And it's kind of a very interesting kind of concept. I like it a lot.
So very cool, because obviously Bob doesn't talk, so Jason Mewes is going to carry that dialogue all the way through. Hopefully, I'm not sure if it's going to be a VR as in real person, like, wearing the 360 camera, him walking around, or if they are going to go virtual, like CG'd kind of deal.
If it's actual CGI, I think that's harder to do than like 360 camera, because if it's a 360 camera, it's a dude in a trench coat, holding up the 360 camera, just kind of seeing everything.
It'd be really cool because he looks down, you're wearing the coat.
Yeah, I mean, it could really just be him and Jason Mewes doing a thing for a couple hours.
Yeah,
or like having friends come by and like
walk do fun by. Stuff. There's Brody. Hey, there's Ben Affleck.
Well, I don't know that they can use those particular characters because Kevin Smith doesn't own them. Some other company does, including I think the Wise. Miramax, which is related to the Weinstein Company, which is in huge trouble right now.
So maybe they'll be able to afford to buy them back by then.
Maybe so, but still, very fun concept. I'm a big VR enthusiast myself. I like the idea of it. Just has snags to work out, but it's still very fun. And the more content you get for this kind of stuff, the more approachable it becomes for the average person.
I know it got approved, but did you ever hear if the Chronic Blunt Punch ever got released?
You mean the side scroller?
The side scroller fighting game?
Yeah, it came out.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it came out. I mean, it was funded. It came out.
Yeah.
It was actually funded not only by like regular investors, but also by like individuals who were paying to get shares in kind of like regular video, like people like us basically who like potentially pay shares into it and get a dividend on the profits long term. It was a very interesting concept. It was run off like essentially Kickstarter page, but it wasn't Kickstarter. It was like this new company who instead of just giving people rewards for supporting a product, they actually give them shares of the company if they invested enough, of course. Other people could still do the regular Kickstarter kind of concept where they just give money for rewards, but it's an actual thing and it looks kind of cool.
Do you remember when it got released? I think it was Steam, but I don't think it got released for the consoles.
Consoles are hard. Well, consoles are easier in some ways. I don't recall off the top of my head. I remember seeing the videos and seeing how cool it looked. Let's see other things that came out in entertainment news. Have you seen Ready Player One yet?
You probably seen it.
I saw the day it came out. I'm a big in virtual reality, not geek, and so seeing Ready Player One on the screen, I'm a huge fan of the book and the novel. Seeing it on the screen was interesting. I'll say it's interesting. But the story we're talking about here is basically that Ernest Cline, who wrote Ready Player One, wrote a second novel, he only has two, called Armada. And that is also a kind of video game themed-ish story where it's kind of like The Last Starfighter.
Okay.
Where an MMO, starfighting kind of game is used as a recruitment tool for like an actual intergalactic war kind of thing. And it's decent. It's very sci-fi-ish towards the end. Like the beginning's very Starfighter-ish where he's playing the game with his friends and he realizes, he learns like, he's being recruited and so are his friends to help fight intergalactic enemies and stuff. But apparently that's also going to be made into a movie. So there you go. So both of his products, because I guess Ready Player One is doing really well.
I'm going to check it out. I haven't seen the movie yet.
If you've never read Ready Player One,
no,
you'll have a good time with it.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I don't know. It's one of those like, it's not loyal to the book or blah, blah, blah kind of deal.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, I don't hate it. I like the book better. And that's not saying it's a bad movie.
That's a good opinion.
But my wife, who's never read the book, who's never familiar with the product, I think I made her listen to the audiobook at one point, but she liked the movie a lot. And because
visuals.
It appeals to a wider group of people than just like the nerds who love the book, because in the book it's very super nerdy. It does a bunch of like gaming nostalgia stuff, like early gaming stuff, like Pac-Man, Zork, a bunch of other things, He-Man. Like there's a bunch of other like really super nerdy references.
A lot of 80s nostalgia
in the novel that just isn't as appealing to like a wider mass market audience. It appeals to like guys who are my age in their 30s who remember those things, but it's not going to appeal to teens or people in their early 20s.
Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. And the movie just pulls in a lot more cultural references that are more popularized, including like there's this whole scene where they're in the movie The Shining.
Oh yes.
And in the book it's war games.
Cool.
in both different popular movies. So that is kind of an example of a lot of the changes they make. And of course, in the movie, they just don't have all the intellectual property rights to make a movie with all the exact same things from the novel. So there are, of course, just different things.
Now, is this a single, just one book, or was it a series?
It's one. He wrote one. It's super popular. He's writing Ready Player 1, 2, or Ready Player 2, I guess it would be called. But Armada is also going to be made and adapted to a film. Okay. And I think Armada it'll be more sci-fi-ish.
All right, cool.
So there you go. Also, let's see what else we got on the news. We have just some casting news at this point. We have Adam Warlock being cast. The guy who's going to play it is Timothy Chalamet.
Really, he spelled Timothy that way?
Yeah, Timothy looks weird, which may be great for the character. Very Frenchy or something. I don't know.
He looks too young. He looks like a younger, what's his face? Loki.
Well, he's supposed to be born recently, so why not the character Warlock being born and raised a little bit younger? They could also just use his head on this massive thing. I mean,
unless they just want to milk him, depending on how the Phase 4 of the.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the character's power isn't dependent upon his muscles, right?
Look like he's lacking of.
Yeah, I'm just saying. The hairline and the face structure kind of match. I think that's all they care about, and that he can hopefully act.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Let's see what else we got. More almost casting news in this case. Matt Damon turned down the role of Alistair Smith in the upcoming Spider-Man Homecoming sequel. So we've confirmed in one shot that Alistair Smith is going to be in the Homecoming sequel, which means he might get the Spider Slayers. He was this weird scientist guy who was obsessed with Spider-Man and powers and robotics, and he eventually turns himself into this android spider thing. It's one of those things Spider-Man's enemies don't all have to be spider thing, folks. You can do some other things.
Exactly. That's interesting. It would have been a weird take on it, but
it's along the lines the other guy was the villain for the Vulture. Why not Matt Damon? He's also famous and getting kind of older. But Matt Damon's probably I still have a much more lucrative career doing other things.
Yeah. So. Good for him.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice. You don't have to have everybody who's super famous in every single comic movie these days.
Well, he did get in the Marvel world. Remember, he was in Ragnarok.
He is in Ragnarok. He's in Thor Ragnarok. He played. He played Loki in the.
Was he Loki?
Who was he? Was he Thor?
I know the brother, Chris Hemsworth's brother, was Thor.
Okay, then he was Loki.
He was either Loki, Loki, because I think it was Kevin Spacey.
He was fake Loki. Yeah, he was fake Loki, in their little meta theme, play thing in that movie, which is super hilarious. So yeah. Good for. I mean,
good
that he's taking. It's good that he can turn down roles.
Yeah.
This is a little rumory. There's a rumor that in the new Venom film that Woody Harrelson is going to be playing Carnage. We already confirmed that Woody Harrelson is in the movie. The early rumors or the early thoughts were in the script that he was playing some kind of sidekick, which is really weird for someone of Woody Harrelson's caliber, right? You think he'd play not someone's sidekick rather than the major villain or somebody really important in the film.
Yeah.
And the current speculation, according to Bleeding Cool, is that they have an inside source saying that Woody Harrelson is actually going to be the big villain, Carnage.
Yeah. I'm gonna seem wild out in it because he's been. If you guys, what was the movie with Mike and Molly? Not Mike and Molly. Something Mallory. The can't think of the.
This is the now the old man forgetting stuff show.
Oh, pretty much.
He's played villains before. He's done bad roles. So the fact that he can do villain here, he can play the crazy serial killer murderer that Carnage is. I think that's definitely up his alley. Hans Zuma the Sharpman says, "Sup guys? Sorry I'm late." Hey, it's okay. Hans, good to see you in the chat. We've talked about some great stuff already.
Natural Born Killers. There you go.
Yeah, that's the one people were referring to online. He's already done this, crazy psycho killer guy. So I'm it kind of makes sense as far as casting on this particular role.
Yeah, because the version compared, if you've seen the comic book version, and they actually brought him the Carnage character to the animated series. The guy was pretty much mentally disturbed and kind of more or less of a wild man. So we'll see how cranked up if Woody Harrelson takes a role.
And I think his facial structure kind of works for the character. He's already kind of bald. So the bald character look for Carnage definitely kind of works.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see how dark and bloody they go for Venom. It is supposed to be a rated R movie. So I'm curious to see how much they're going to push into the Venom and Carnage, like bloody, because both characters they eat people.
Yeah.
Venom and Carnage is called Carnage because he slashes and murders people very viciously. He's painted blood red for a reason.
I want to see that version though, because I've seen I don't know if you watched the new Spider-Man series that's out on Disney XD. They made him look like he's red, but it looks like he's wearing like a really bad mask.
Oh, like the white eye part goes past his head, you mean?
Yeah. And this is this horrible take on it. If they go that version, that'd be awesome. They can't
go super dark on Disney XD, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
There you go. But that's interesting to me. I think it'd be a great addition to that particular casting because so far it's just the one Venom guy. It's Tom Hardy, and he's kind of it as far as like really decent actors. And the trailers so far haven't endeared that particular movie to the fandom yet.
Yeah, especially if they want to go that separation anxiety and bringing the other Venom symbiotes out.
Yeah, because I think that's a plan towards the end of that film, is that quote one of the script anyways, that the others Venom symbiotes are going to be shown towards the end of it, and then it's supposed to lead into like a second and third, film. Okay, on to our last particular news story. This one is super interesting, and I put it on because of this guy, because like he seems really into it.
This was almost like, well, should I read it or you go?
Yeah, I'll read it. Conor McGregor stole the show during UFC 223 last Saturday night at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and he wasn't even fighting. Well, not in the ring anyways. Cell phone footage surfaced very shortly after this, capturing McGregor assaulting a UFC bus filled with fighters. He's seen breaking windows, throwing several objects, including a barricade. I'll pull up the actual video because UFC actually released their own version of this, which makes people kind of question, like, oh, is this real? Or was this like staged and it got out of hand or something?
Oh yeah. Because it was funky. It was like, it was very WWE style, like the stuff that happens backstage. But they're like wondering what's going on. So why is he here? Why is this happening? Why is, is it a buildup? Does he have beef with somebody or what's going on?
Yeah, no, that's definitely what I mean. Those are questions that people have. But the actual, having some weird window issues, but you can see it in the bottom left-hand corner, folks. Yeah. If you're watching at home or on Facebook Live. Basically, you can see him throwing a dolly at the bus. He's throwing a bunch of things. Apparently, what started the incident off was that he was stripped of his lightweight UFC title because he hasn't fought for the UFC in like 2 years. And so they took it away from him. They gave it to an interim match that night, and whoever was going to win the match that night was going to be the new lightweight champion in UFC. McGregor apparently didn't like this. He apparently flew in with like 20 of his Irish friends, and they got to the buses and they did this. They literally hurt some actual fighters. 3 more fights were canceled because the doctors basically said they're not fit to fight for various reasons. That's okay. And so it was a legitimate thing. And the police, after this happened, went looking for him. Like this is an actual incident of assault. Someone who was actually hurt. There were actual damages that the other people can sue him for.
There, he's bleeding, and busted windows. Oh yeah, it's all. Yep. But the way it was all set up, especially watching this version, it's so well edited. You think clear. It was like, it just happened to be done just right.
Yeah, you can see a couple different guys with cameras running around, and this is kind of what most people think. Oh, was this actually staged, or did it just get out of hand? And honestly, I'm not 100% sure either, but I do know that Conor McGregor showed up in court, because he turned himself to the police, and he was released on $50,000 bail, and he's a court date of like June 14th. And I'm like, those are real assault charges. Yeah. These are real lawsuits potentially pending against this guy, and it's curious. It's a very interesting story. We've seen things like this happen in like WWE, in like the wrestling world, which is.
But it's staged and organized.
Yeah, and that's fine. But this is the UFC where people actually get hurt in the ring.
So right now,
it's supposed to be a much more real fighting, and having like these beefs with other competitors is not unusual.
Yeah, even Dana White's right now like, so what do I do? Do I ban him? Do I keep him? Do I book him for right?
He basically said that He's done with the UFC as far as he's concerned, but that's for now. This is getting a ton of press.
Which is great for publicity's sake. That's awesome because the whole build-up, of course, is from the previous fight with him versus Mayweather. So that's Mayweather, right?
Yeah, that was an actual boxing match. So basically, he's done more boxing matches since his title fight in the UFC than he has UFC fights.
And of course, now the whole thing is they were trying to do like a rematch, but in the MMA world. Now, obviously, with this incident that just happened, and of course, Dana White saying he's done.
It's just kind of one of those things. But I would think that the UFC would use this opportunity to definitely draw in more interest from McGregor, because money buries hatchets very well. You know.
Oh yeah. So I think it's gonna do if money is gonna be the issue, they're gonna do it. They're gonna book it. They're gonna do it. If not, that's an opportunity for any other MMA organization, Bellator, whatnot, First Strike, someone to pick them up. And hey, if they could cover that paycheck, and they're gonna want ridiculous amount of money, that's an opportunity for them.
Yeah. And so it's a very interesting story. It is, of course, continuing on as we speak. Yeah. We like I said. He's going to be in court again on June the 14th, which is a little ways away, but it is an actual assault charge that the police are charging him with. So he may potentially, I don't think he's going to go to jail. He may get heavily fined though. But it wouldn't be the first time. There is the possibility of jail time.
He can afford it.
I think it's more likely that he'll be sued not only by UFC or group fine, but also by the fighters whose fights he interrupted, because there's an actual loss of income there. So there are damages that would have to be paid by McGregor. So there we go. So there's our geek news section. But again, like I said, that video just looks so suspicious, you know?
It's like it's just so well done and edited. It's
Okay, that's it for Geek News. We have our movie trailer showdown where we show you the best trailers we've seen recently, and we decide which one we like the best. Quick chat from the chat room. Hanzuma says, "Have they said who will be the villain in who's coming up in Doctor Strange?" Yeah, they did actually. They said it was. I forgot to write it down, but they did actually reveal.
Well, obviously, Dormammu was in the first one.
I'll look it up.
Not Mordor.
Well, yeah, he's there. He's one of the villain.
So it's going to be continuing.
Doctor Strange 2. They did say. I remember seeing it.
Robert, see what?
Let's see. Nightmare. So there you go.
Nightmare, really?
Yeah. Nightmare and Baron Mordo.
There you go.
Sorry, folks.
Okay.
I press numbers. It does other things on the actual thing. So
okay.
But yeah, it's going to be it'll be Baron Mordo, which you saw from the last movie. Yeah. Then it's also going to be Nightmare, which makes sense. That's also a major, Doctor Strange villain. But there we go. So we have a few other trailers to go through, and then that'll be the end of the show, folks. So first we have Upgrade. Now this trailer is this one's really weird.
I like it.
I like it too. It's very like this
$1 Million Man
sort of that goes wrong, and then it kind of combines that with like the Chip from Knight Rider, like that kind of voice. Yeah. It's a very interesting like sci-fi speculative action kind of story. The main character sees his girlfriend murdered or died or raped or whatever, and he becomes a quadriplegic because of the being beat up. Mm-hmm. Doctors put in a special chip, and that chip apparently restores all of his muscle nervous control. System. Like the chip is controlling how his body works now. So it's, but on default setting, he just acts normally, but he wants revenge, and there's an AI unit inside of the chip that talks to him. So it's almost like, the devil's telling me to do things kind of storyline as well, where he can potentially get revenge. Only, as you see in the trailer, this guy is not exactly a great fighter apparently, but for some reason the chip is, and things get super bloody. Now the version we're showing you on the podcast, if you're watching the video version, is the green version. There's not a super lot of ultra violence, but the red band version has like these super gory scenes. Like in this trailer, when we're showing you now, it just fades black, but like some really kind of gory stuff occurs in the actual red band. So be aware that this is a very violent film that kind of goes into like the sci-fi realm a lot, including some special effect violence.
Especially right there.
Like that guy.
Like, he has a knife. We got one too.
Yeah, it doesn't in the actual trailer. It does not fade away, and you see kind of gross looking things. But again, it's part of this larger like sci-fi kind of concept. So again, very
definitely catches the eye for me.
Yeah.
I would definitely check it out.
So it's a very interesting concept. I'm not sure if it's going to be considered like horror or something. But it's like I said, it is interesting.
Action for sure.
So next one is going to be Johnny English Strikes Again.
Yeah.
Comedy this time. Skipping ads. See, that's what we get. This is essentially a comedy spoof. James Bond again. If you ever like watched earlier films, this is Mr. Bean. He's an English comedian, and this time he's being Johnny English as like this 007 kind of character being brought back into the modern world. I mean, reactivated after all the other British agents have had their identities revealed to the world. So, but again, very, very comedic. Some of the humor is very subtle. Some of it is very physical.
Very 007.
What'd you think of it,
Mission
man?
Impossible. Honestly, I get the humor and everything, but I'd rather want to watch a fourth, fifth Austin Powers movie.
Yes,
I would rather watch that than Johnny English.
This is the humor here is sometimes very subtle, sometimes very not physical. Even though it's supposed to be like this actor is more known for his physicality.
Oh yeah,
and some of his other roles.
Semi-slapsticky, a lot of like facial, and the eyebrows.
And it's one of those things like I'm hoping these aren't the best points in the film. That's what happens in comedy a lot. Is that they use like the most funniest moments for like the trailers to get people interested. And if this is the best, that does not bode well for this movie in particular. But still, very interesting. Okay, next is Cargo. This one was definitely again kind of weird because it has the guy from The Hobbit. I forget his name. Martin Freeman. He's living in Australia. Apparently there's a zombie apocalypse that happens, and his wife is infected. They crash. She bites him, so he's infected as well. And he's like 48 hours to find a safe place to leave his newborn daughter, basically their infant daughter, before he turns and eats her or becomes a danger or whatever. And so that's part of the journey. And then there's also this subplot, according to the trailer, of also like society going to heck in a handbasket. And some of these Australians have issues with Aborigines.
Very purge style.
Yeah, very purgy in that particular instance. And so it's a very interesting concept of like, this stuff happening. Like, there's some very interesting themes here.
Oh yeah.
So very interesting stuff. I have no idea what's going to happen at the end of it, but it's interesting.
Yeah. I want to check it out. It's coming out for Netflix, so you obviously save some money. Don't have to go to the theater to watch it. So
next one is How to Talk to Girls at Parties. Again, another weird movie. I love odd films. I love movies that make me think. And this one is definitely weird too. It takes place in like the punk era. I think it's like 1970, 1980, whatever. In this punk scene in England. And these three kids teens who are in the punk vibe, they go to this house looking to have sex with like with like these weird people they've heard about, and it turns out, at least it's inferred, that these people are aliens with these weird cultural norms, and they're exploring the universe or whatever. And then the character we're seeing on screen currently, she kind of falls for this other human, and they go off on this adventure where she learns about punk culture and this kind of exploration of humanity. And it's very interesting, very adorable. There's obviously a romance thing here and this cultural thing happening. Like I said, it's really weird. But I think it has potential to also be very fun and interesting.
Oh, yeah. It's like Superbad mixed with SLC punk, mixed with like an Amish thing because you're breaking away from a cult.
I was also thinking of like mixing it with like, what was that movie, Valerian?
Valerian? Yeah, there you go.
Valerian aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a very adorable character. Very adorable kids. Like, they're all very, like, you want to root for them to be, but it's also weird.
This movie made me feel like if they were young at that time, this would be one of those Simon Pegg, Nick Frost kind of movies.
Maybe. Yeah, but it's very much a comedic bent, but also, like, some very, just, like, odd things happening. If you're into that, great.
Yeah.
I definitely am. Let's see. Also, last one is going to be The Darkest Minds. This one gave me like an X-Men vibe.
Totally. I was thinking, I was waiting for the Marvel logo to kick in, like, especially
Young Mutants or something.
Oh yeah,
definitely. The Darkest Minds. The premise of this is basically that all children have the potential to like develop these superpowers for some reason, whether telekinetic, pyrotechnic, whatever it is. Any superpower you can think of that has to do with the mind, because they can't use mutants. That somebody else has the rights to that word. Yeah. But that's what it is basically.
Yeah.
And so there's very much like a New Mutant kind of vibe to us, and which is probably intentional. But it's also like, oh, these kids are being used as like government experiments, so they have to escape and they try to find a place for themselves. So it's also a coming of age story where people are accepting who they are. So there's a lot of little things there, but for like nerdy guys like us, like, oh, mutants.
Yeah. It pretty much is.
Yeah.
It's pretty much is. It had totally the whole X-Men vibe. I was thinking, is this the Runaways, but a movie version?
That's
or
what I thought too. I'm like, it feels like the Runaways.
Yeah, so-
and like theme, like it might be better than the actual Runaways television show in some ways.
Yeah, well, Fox is taking advantage of whatever superpowered characters that aren't Marvel, you know.
No, they're enhanced people or people with genetic abnormalities that give them powers.
Yeah, so that's cool. It's a different take on it. It's not that like the other one that was it I Am 4 or Number 4 or whatever.
Yeah, I Am Number 4.
So it's not like they're aliens or anything like that. So
that was horrible. Like, but yeah, this definitely has like the whole mutant, like people, teens fighting against the man to have their right to exist, and going against the government, and like that's very much a teen thing. Yeah. So interesting stuff.
Rebellion.
So okay, so we have 5 trailers, man. Upgrade, Johnny English Strikes Again, Cargo, How to Talk to Girls at Parties, and The Darkest Mind. Which one did you enjoy the most?
I'm gonna go with Upgrade.
You like Upgrade? I'm gonna go with How to Talk to Girls at Parties. Personally, Upgrade is cool. It is super violent though, and there are just some things I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can.
It's not.
It's definitely cringy for me. I was like, oh.
If you've seen Logan, I think you could handle Upgrade.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like, it kind of depends on the content. Like, maybe they just squished all those parts together. But if that's a major theme, if it turns in like this horror movie, like, oh, the AI using this body for whatever wants to murder a bunch of people, I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it anyways.
Yeah.
I might just like close my eyes to parts of it because I'm not into like slasher films. I'm not. That's not my thing. How to Talk to Girls at Parties, just weird, and it's interesting, but it's also cute. I'm like, oh, okay, that's
just out there.
I'll see how that works out. But it's like you can tell there's also like this romance story that I'm like, okay, that's cute. So there you go. So he picked Upgrade. I picked How to Talk to Girls at Parties because I remember asking that question when I was 12.
Yeah.
There you go. And Hans Lima in the chat asked, what did you guys think of the Titans on Netflix? I haven't watched it yet. I saw the trailers. We saw the trailer. We talked about it when it first came out. Like this prepping an astronaut to go to some other planet by changing his genetics to become like this alien kind of thing.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it, man. You're probably not going to hear us actually say these words back to you for a little while. So we'd ask you what you thought of it yourself. Well, I guess you can actually say, man, if you guess this. What did you think of it, Hans? Yeah, see, that doesn't work. It doesn't work on live.
Like this. Either way,
there's a delay there.
We'll check it out eventually, and we'll probably give our little review, if not of it.
Yeah, so there you go. So thanks a lot, everyone, for hanging out, for watching this show. This is
if
you want to help support the podcast in any way, shape, or form, you can find all the ways to do so at
geekbytespodcast.com/support.
Absolutely. For Geek Bytes Podcast, I am Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
And remember, folks, to go geek out about something. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.
Press the red button now. There you go.
Watch WrestleMania.